Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. It is episode 56 of the Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon, using the old school essential system by Gavin Norman. The Halls of Arden Vul, of course, is by Richard Barton. My name is John. I'm the referee for the evening. Going around the horn, we have...
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm playing Darius Vile, the second level assassin.
We normally have David playing Upior, the first level necromancer. However, he's dead to us tonight.
I'm Matt, and this evening I shall be portraying Njol Oakhart, the fifth level Whiskin fighter. At your service.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted, and tonight I will once again reprise the role of Mortus J. Gobliono, proving the old adage, any Mort in a storm.
Oh!
All right. So,
do you like lie awake in bed at night trying to think of
that one came to me in the shower, if I'm being honest.
Nice. Okay, so we are using a team tonight who is exploring the areas surrounding the Great Hall after teleporting there from the Blue Pillar Room. It is the 3rd of Gelenios, as it is for all of the teams. A team is at the earliest time frame out of all three teams by a few hours, actually. It is 11:20 a.m. That reminds me I need to pull out my time tracker here. And we are talking about Darius, Njal, and Mort currently here without your necromancer. So I have a... What was that squeak?
So that was my mic. I'm sorry. It was my...
Oh.
Was it just adjusting my snowball and it
oh, okay. All right. So I have written down here a torch is about to go out in one turn. I'm not sure who's carrying that, but someone's got that. And yes, you guys are at a... Let's see. Let's switch it over to Miro real quick for everybody. You are at where the AV marker is right there. So after spending most of last session talking with the sun-scarred knight Sir Simonet, who was recovering from his own encounter with not only the fear creature, but also looks like having fought some goblins and Setites as well, is recuperating in a dead-end chamber on his own to the south there. But his story holds up as you continue to explore eastward from there, having discovered the goblin charred bodies that were the victims of his powerful lance that apparently emits energy of some sort, some horrible burning energy. Found the goblins relayed to you that there is a secret passageway that connects that room with the room with the fountain. And then exploring even further east, you were in a narrow 5-foot wide corridor. Immediately started to smell the smell of decay coming from both the southern hallway leading to the south and towards the east. Source of the eastern smell was readily apparent right in front of the door leading eastward, which is where you're standing right now, which are 3 goblin bodies that have been expertly butchered in some places for choice cuts of meat. And... Ugh. I believe that's where we left off. Yeah, so 11:20. You've got the goblins that are still huddling around there. You've treated with them. You know, you can go back there freely without fear of them like attacking you or anything like that, right? They're also they're scared to go back to the fear thing room. Reunification with the other teams is dependent, as far as you've surmised, to get through the double doors in the Great Hall, which, at least with the paths that you know, can only be done through the room with the fear element, with the fear creature. So the goblins also warned you of the Sunscarred Knight who you talked to, but also warned you that there were horrible noises coming from the north, where they told you that they had fought a pitched battle against Setites, who also seemed to have been equally frightened as well. But for some strange reason, unnatural, awful gurgling and growling sounds were coming from that room after they blockaded it. So that's the deal. What do you do?
Well, our choices sound so delightful.
Why don't we just go back to B team? You guys want to just go back to B team now?
That's just a B team. That's just. So I mean, I know we talked about a lot of things on Discord, a lot of options we have, all of which involve basically stopping where we are and working our way back and trying to reunify. I just think I had forgotten about these two doors here. Do we want to think about exploring them?
There is I should mention, there is a slight glow, a continuous glow of light coming from underneath the very thin seam at the base of that door where the goblins are bunched up.
That eastern thing, right?
Yeah. I realized that if we open that up, that's, delaying our plan of working backwards and trying to reunify. It does seem a little odd to come to a door
and not open it.
But
well, and also, I mean, not to be the fly in the ointment, especially since I was like persona non grata on Discord today, but I do think that likely the beastmen chopped up those goblins for meat, right? Maybe, possibly.
Oh, I thought it was
something
goblin
in the south. Oh, I thought it was something down that southern hallway.
Oh,
who knows?
Cannibalism.
There could be horrible things everywhere.
There could be, and there probably are. But I'm just like, I love the plan with the fear monster. I love, and I won't spoiler it, but yeah. But I also think that the potential for shenanigans to go awry is like really high in that. So I don't know. Is it worth maybe just poking our nose through this other door and just seeing? Maybe it's Disneyland.
Well, I have an idea. John.
Okay.
If we just I remember last time we were here, Njal threw a javelin at one of the goblin corpses just to kind of make sure it wasn't like going to respond or whatever.
Yep.
And we're right there. Can we just move them over enough to look under that door and see, along with you mentioned there's like a little glow coming through. Is there any like shadows or movement or any interruption of that light that might indicate somebody's back there?
No, it's you could certainly move the bodies, and if you kind of stare at it long enough, I won't even say it takes a full turn. You see no shadows passing, like it's a continuous steady glow.
Yeah. I should listen too.
Yeah, can we get eyes on the door itself and just see if it's like locked and if it's like
checking that and listening? That'll take a turn.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so after that turn, the torch goes out. So now whoever was holding that, there is no light. Mort can see, the other two of you cannot.
Can we have relit a new torch on the end of that torch?
Well, you could just do it right now if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, let me just mark that.
So blow on it a little bit. It'll spark back it.
Who's holding the torch?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Darius was, right?
I don't
have one on my.
That. Yeah. I don't mind doing that, but if I have to use my last invisibility to run away, you guys are screwed.
No, we can still see. We can still see the light.
Not
Or
if I
you just drop
run
the
away.
torch. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so Darius is lighting the torch?
Yeah.
Okay, so mark the torch off.
Okay.
And
you have torches, Darius.
We filled up in that the goblins gave us one, didn't they? They gave us a couple.
I believe they did, yeah.
Okay.
But make sure it's on your character sheet, otherwise you didn't.
No, Darius has. I have 5 on my character sheet right now.
I have 3 left.
Okay, cool. All right, so mark one off.
Nothing.
Okay, so you guys want to check the door and you want to listen and all that kind of good stuff. So those listening, please roll.
You listen, Ted. I'll do the searching part.
A 3.
Okay.
I guess I can listen to. I don't have
Nothing
anything.
nothing very exciting, even for a goblin.
Okay.
I can still give it a try.
Why not?
Give it a try. Why not? Why not?
We don't silo abilities in this game. What do you think we're playing?
There we
here?
go.
Right.
I've got a 6. I'm really good at it.
No, the opposite of that. So you guys don't hear anything on the other side. The door itself seems to be pretty much a duplicate of the one that you passed through to get into this hallway. So just a small, typical Arcantian door, wooden iron bands.
Right.
All right, guys. Do we want to check it out? I mean, I can y'all will happily just like crack it open and peek in.
Yeah. Did my search of the door reveal anything different, John, than just it's a normal door?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just
okay,
normal.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So why don't we use my? Oh wait, Breggy has the 10-foot pole. Does anyone have a 10-foot pole?
I no longer have one.
Okay.
What do you want to do with it? I have javelins.
Say we could push it open from like a distance.
No, y'all will just like peek in. I'll just crack it and carefully peek it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So it gives relatively easily. Probably hasn't been used all that often. But you open it up with minimal sound and you peer in, and it is definitely another Arcantian chamber. So yeah, carved out. So it is a 40-foot east to west by 30-foot north to south room, and you are coming in the very southwestern corner of the western wall.
Ooh, that's awfully close to that door to the big chamber up there,
That's
boys.
what I was hoping for.
Will you describe that again, John?
40 feet east to west, 30 feet north to south. You're coming in at the very far southwestern corner of the western wall.
40 feet east to west, 30 feet north to south. Okay.
Yes. Now there. One point of clarification, just this total side note, but I'm just realizing when I'm looking at the map. Way back in the day, when you first entered the Great Hall, when you first did the split party, when I was describing the barricades of the beastmen on the eastern side of the Great Hall, I also described that there was an identical southern barricade there.
Yes.
That barricade, it is indeed a barricade, but it is not in any way, shape, or form the same as the very well-made and sturdy door-like structures that the beastmen have created. It's much more of like a junk barricade with detritus and wood and all that kind of crap. Okay,
So
but it is
removable.
still very effective. But it does not look like it was a beastman make. We'll put it that way.
And the other ones, the ones along the east, you had mentioned that they have a door in them. This is literally just a pile of junk, no doors.
Where?
On the southern that southern entrance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no doors or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a big barricade.
Okay.
Okay, so back to this room. Anyways, their egress is out of here. There appears at a cursory glance that there is a very small, kind of like the same size door that you entered through. Another door on the eastern wall, just south of 10 feet on the eastern wall. And there is a normal size door that is on the northern wall, 10 feet in from the east.
All right. So northern wall, 10 feet in from the east. So one there. And eastern wall where?
Nope, from the east.
You got your east and west mixed up. Be over here.
Right there. Or here, do you mean?
10 feet in. So yeah.
Wait,
Here. And the eastern wall where?
It is 10 feet down the eastern wall.
so dead center.
No, because it's like a little tiny one, so it's just past 10 feet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like that?
Yeah. But the northern one is a normal size door. Okay. Now, for the room itself. There is it appears to be continual light has been cast generally in the center of the ceiling. And looks like the original decorations of the room are long gone. The floor is littered with stone rubble of all sorts, rises to a height of several feet in the corners. You can see that there are faint paths that sort of lead from each of the three doors to the center of the room. And in the direct center of the room, there is a stalagmite coming out, emerging from this tiled, broken floor. And it's about 4 feet tall. And strangely, not only the sight of the stalagmite itself is very strange, but resting super precariously, like just barely balancing on the very tip of this stalagmite, is a simple 3 foot in diameter wide bronze platter. Okay. And because it's 4 feet tall, everyone probably except for, everyone actually here. Oh, no, not Mort. Everyone except for Mort can see that within that platter, there appear to be some shiny silvery or platinum coins. And it's just barely hanging on top of that stalagmite. All right.
Anyone else feel like that is just like, that's a trap.
That's a trap.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if the footprints to it, I wonder if that's a place to like donate to something, right? Like if you add a coin.
Yeah, this feels like one of those games though, like a Jenga kind of thing. You add a coin, the thing falls down, something eats you. You take a coin, it eats you. I don't know.
So you can see that there Yeah, most of the room is kind of piled with stone rubble of all sorts, right? It looks to be kind of some natural, some work from the stone. Except for those paths, you can also see, on the eastern side of the stalagmite that there are a few like clearish path, like patches, not really pathways, but they're sort of, dotted around. There's probably, let's see, I'd say there's probably about like 2 of them or so that are just sort of clear of rubble. Everything else is sort of, you're sort of bound by moving along those pathways unless you wanted to move some of the rock.
Yeah.
And
John,
in general, there is a slight, you can hear a slight constant hiss, just sort of sourceless. You could just hear like a tss.
Oh, that's probably not good. Or snakes.
It's very, very subtle though.
Yeah, John, looking in, do we smell anything?
No, not really, no.
Okay. Look at the rocks. Do they look like they've fallen from up above, or like maybe they were brought in here and piled?
Yeah, it looks. There's not enough rock here to what's the word? Rationalize why there's so much in here. But yeah, there are chunks of the ceiling that have fallen in, and you can definitely kind of see them on the floor. So
that could be some of that. Like, could be some mix. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, what do you
can't tell the source of the hissing? Is that what you said?
It's sort of all around. If you had to say, like, because it's sort of pervasive, probably coming from that stalagmite right in the middle of the room.
Any smell to it?
Not really.
No smell.
Huh.
And the stalagmite,
not to put the sulfur in the natural gas yet.
the stalagmite, looking at that closely, and from 20 feet away, appears very rocky, very like. Well, I mean, stalagmites don't just form; they don't just show up; they drip down and form. So, what's dripping from up above? Nothing. There's no stalactite above it, right?
Not really, no.
So this is unnatural in its appearance and location.
Does it? Yeah, it's very strange looking, especially because you're not in a natural cavern. You're in an Archontian chamber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So either it's some sort of volcanic thing that's pushing up from below, or it's a monster or creature of some kind in disguise.
If you had a dwarf with you, you could definitely peg what the.
That was
mean. Greg had been with this group. John,
wait, didn't you give the goblins the same? Didn't you house rule goblins have some of those dwarf abilities?
No, they had the same dwarf thing of listen at doors. It was my house rule. Yeah.
And you're welcome. Okay. Riding on the coattails of the elder races.
And goblins have been around since the dawn of time, man. Look at us.
Please. All right, John, if I waggle the torch at the entryway of the door, does it change colors?
No. Good question.
Oh, I see.
Very cool question.
But canary in a coal mine where you blow the whole place up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Do we have any canary? Ooh, can you get a canary out of the sack?
Wrong guy, man. Wrong guy. Y'all checks the sack that he has in his backpack. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
So goblins have the highest saving throw, Ted.
All right.
Wait a second. Here's what I want. Go ahead.
I think the stalactite is a monster. I think the hissing is it's hissing. I think I get within 10 feet of it, all these tentacles are going to come out and grab me and suck me in, and the little plate of coins is just a lure.
So there's for one thing that definitely a good suspicion to have, Mort. But the hissing is constant, and it does not appear to be like any sort of like inhalation exhalation, right? It's just like a constant sort of hiss.
Like if there were a gas jet in the room, that might be a sound like as modern people we might suspect.
Yeah, and I'm pointing it out too because you guys are being very quiet and very cautious. I mean, it is very, very hard to hear.
All right, why don't we light another torch and throw it in?
I love that idea. Let's do it.
I'll pull a torch out of my pack, John. Light it off the first torch.
Okay.
We're going to back up first.
Back up a little bit so that we're not just standing in the doorway like doofuses.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hook that torch over straight at the stalactite.
and
kinda
shut the door.
Yeah.
Straight at the like you're going to try to hit the stalagmite?
Hit it or get close to the base of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. So, you toss it in there, and it kind of rolls to a stop right against the stalagmite, and it just burns. You don't see any color change. No change in the room.
The stalagmite doesn't yell, "Ow!"
Nope.
Okay.
No tentacles come out.
Nope.
No mouth opens up.
Nope.
I'm disappointed.
I am too. I thought we'd finally found the elusive mimic.
Oh, there's going to be something in here to kill us.
A roper, man. It's not a mimic. It's a roper.
It might be. I suspect that as well. All right, guys. Do we want to like check out that northern door? Because if so, I can attack that thing. I can throw a javelin at it. I can pull the javelin I threw at the dead goblin.
But we're all agreed that we're leaving the platter of money, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm not tempted by that.
Yeah. I have to say, I like the idea. If this door would lead us out that southern entrance of the Great Hall, and we could just avoid the fear thing altogether, that's a winner.
Well, I also think we could enlist a shit ton of goblins to help clear the barricade if there's just a barricade there.
Oh yeah, they'll come with us for sure. So let's do it. Let's skirt around the western and northern edge of the room to avoid the stalactite and go to the door.
Do you want me to throw a javelin at it first and see if it reacts?
It didn't react to being an open flame next to it. I don't think it's going to react to a javelin either. You probably knock the tray off if you throw a javelin.
And that'll make a lot of noise. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So you're moving along the western into the northern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as Ted said, we're going to try to scramble over the rocks if we need to and stay close to the wall.
Okay, it's very, very rough going, and you're very much going slower than normal because you have to pick your way. It's like, I mean, it's really crammed with rock, especially around the sides and in the corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you move your way slowly around, and you're not, and you're just kind of scrambling over the rocks. Nothing seems to happen. And are you deliberately avoiding the pathway?
Yes. Yeah. Can we, as we approach it though, as we look at it, can we actually look at the pathway too? You remember how the blue room had like the faint imprints of like footprints on the sides and stuff like that? This doesn't have that, right? Because there's no like soft detritus. It's just a clear path of rockway.
Yeah, there's still like grit and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But it's definitely a marked pathway. There's no footprints though to be seen.
No boots or hooves or anything like that.
Unfortunately not, no, yeah.
All right. Well. Pressure plates, acid traps.
Well, Darius, as you're kind of moving around the edge and you approach the northern door.
Okay.
And you're getting closer to the end of that one path. And because you're paying attention to anything strange in the path and looking for traps, you actually do see that directly in front of that door, along the path, stretched just at ankle height between two pieces of rock, is a very thin filament of wire.
Nice. Hold on, guys. Someone's laid a trap. Is there any way to deduce, John, that what that might be hooked up to?
We follow the wire.
Follow the wire.
So you do, and it's actually kind of strange because it's tightly wound and attached professionally to like two opposite ends of some pieces of heavy rock, right? And it looks like the filament is thin enough that it would snap with just the slightest amount of pressure. But then kind of looking at the rocks and how they're mounted and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't look like it would trigger any sort of weird rock fall. It just looks like the wire would snap. So it's kind of strange. Okay. And you're kind of sitting there bemusedly looking at it, Darius. You do notice that the filament itself, it probably belies its actual strength. It seems to have a weird sheen to it, something that doesn't seem natural.
Like a poison or something. But the other option is that this is the trap we're meant to find, and there's a second trap that we would trigger trying to disarm this thing.
Oh, your paranoia level is so there, Ted. I love it.
I can say, Ted, that Darius was the only reason I gave Darius is that because he specifically told me he was looking for traps along the path.
And now I'm specifically telling you I'm looking around the door for the other trap that is here. While Darius investigates the wire.
So moving around the room and looking at that trap is going to have taken a turn.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, John, do the wires just end at these rocks, or does it like wrap around?
It wraps around. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, I wonder if this isn't one of those magic alarm kind of thingies that Avaricios does sometimes.
Or it could be poisonous, like you just a contact poison.
Yeah, but if it's at ankle height or like whatever, you're probably wearing pants, right? Like, so who cares?
Gosh, I hope he's wearing pants.
No. Mort doesn't wear pants.
Donald Duck in this whole dungeon.
No, I'm not Donald Duck in it.
I'm wondering,
Legionnaire, man. Got the little tunic, with the terry
what do you do?
And sandals.
John, can I spend a little bit more time to actually observe the rocks? I want to gently like prod the rock with like the edge of my dagger to see if it penetrates. Like, is it illusionary?
No, it seems very solid.
Or is the rock attached to the floor and can be moved?
It can be moved, but it's very, very big.
It also looks like if that wire is so tight, then I worry about moving that thing. I'll just snap it.
I know. I was just wondering if we could slide the whole thing away from the door. Go ahead. Sorry, Matt. Does the door open into the room, John?
It opens whatever way you want.
Okay, so it's not designed that the door would trigger the trap when it opens up.
No.
It's definitely for a foot. Okay.
No.
Well, I was going to ask. So while he is checking out the wire, y'all would listen at the door. I don't know if Mort wants to as well.
I should this door actually does have a specific direction. It opens into the room.
So it would.
You would pull it out. It wouldn't trip the wire. So it's right like here. Can you see me?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I see you.
Right there.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I thought it was right on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
So we could kind of just avoid the wire altogether. It looks like.
Yeah, and I think we have kind of by going around it.
I think if we just we should check the door.
It's fairly obvious that if like you move along the path that you would trip.
You're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just call it good and avoid the wire.
Okay.
Let me mark a wire on this map though.
I really wish we knew what it set off.
No, I don't want to know that. It's not good. While he's doing that, can I go ahead and roll my listen?
Yes.
Because this is gonna be a 1. You watch it. Here we go. It's gonna be a 1. It's a 1.
It's a 1.
You just gotta see it.
You hear nothing on the other side.
Okay.
Or do you?
All right. What's
What
up?
do my human ears hear? Nothing.
Nothing. So that took a turn.
Okay.
Let me open this door, guys.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I'll do the same thing. Very slowly, just kind of creak it open and peek inside.
Okay, so you start to open it really slowly, but soon enough, as you open it up towards you, a huge mound of rock fall just sort of cascades into the room from the other side. You're fine.
I was afraid of that.
It sort of like pushes you away, but you can see that almost the entire height of the door in the corridor beyond was choked with rocky rubble, and it just sort of and like the stuff that was sort of up against the door sort of like collapses into the room, and you have to sort of dodge out of the way.
Does it hit the wire?
Can we try to keep it from hitting the wire?
Yeah,
since
it doesn't
we're aware
hit the wire.
of it.
It doesn't hit the wire.
Okay.
That's interesting.
No, that sucks.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, I mean, we found
interesting.
there's the pile of rubble in the corner of that great hall. So that's the connection there, which means that other hallway connects to something we have no access to at all. Looks like.
Ooh, I wonder if that bronze spigot thing could open up some kind of secret hall. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! It would be perfect. Where else is that thing going to connect to?
So the rubble, John, that some of it slides in. Does that, to any appreciable degree, open up, like crawling over it to get to the Great Hall?
No, it's similar to every other like choked hallway you've had. So it's not an impossible task, but it's just an immense amount of time and strength. What if
we had a buttload of goblins to help?
It would shorten the amount of time, but it would still take a lot of time, right? A lot of time,
like days.
Yeah, like days. Yes, yeah.
Days.
Okay, we don't have days.
All right,
but not.
Well, I think that answers that, guys.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that that eastern door. I think that's definitely beastmen
country.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do love the idea of going back to the room with the bronze spigot and doing a better search in there and seeing if there's anything that would open up.
Connect. Yeah, because we never investigated it. We just ran through.
Well,
we did, though. I thought we did.
We did, but truthfully, this room, that western wall, we could look for some secret doors there.
Why not? I mean, we're in here already. Why not?
Yeah. So as we walk back to the door we came in, we could, check the walls along the way and look for any kind of anomalies in the stonework.
What I'm going to say is because the stone is mounted against the walls very high, that if you want to do a thorough search and be super sure, every search you did was going to cost 2 turns rather than 1.
Ooh, guys, we are really hurting on torchlight. I don't know.
I mean, we're not though, Matt. We actually have I have 5. Someone else had 3. That gives us 8.
Well, I used one of them. Actually, I'm going to pick up the torch that I threw in here, John.
Sure, that's fine.
Hold on to it.
It'll last the same amount of time as Darius's.
As Mike's, yeah.
But guys, it's light. There's light in this room, so you should extinguish your torches.
Oh yeah, actually, I'll put out that torch halfway, whatever it is.
We should probably just extinguish both and use the continual light in here and just take our time and search that wall. We might as well. It's not costing us resources because there's a continual light in this room.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Put out our torches, use the continual light, do a thorough search of the western half of this room, looking for secret doors to the west.
So just mark, because I'll forget that you've used 2 out of your 6 on those torches, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to be very thorough. Are you looking for anything specific, or you want to leave it up to rolls?
So what I'm imagining is what we're looking for is
there's no frescoes, right?
Probably similar mechanism to the secret door we found into the bronze spigot room.
The one that connected the dead goblin room to the spigot room.
Yeah, so you never actually explored those doors, right? Or did you?
No, we did. Yeah, we opened them.
You did? Okay, yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah.
So I'm looking for a similar mechanism or door outline or that sort of thing. I think is probably a safe assumption.
Okay, Mike.
I guess what I'll be looking for is if there had been a fresco there, how the eyeballs are usually there would be assuming the fresco's gone, the buttons would still be there with the little, the indentations.
Sure, understood.
I'll look for those.
Okay. Sorry, Niall, do you do anything? Oh, sorry, he's talking. Let's see. Okay, so you take 2 turns. It is now 12:10 p.m. And you look very thoroughly. You're moving rocks around. Careful not to jar anything too loose or anything like that. But you can safely say that along the entire western and northern wall, up to the point of the northern door, does not have any secret doors.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, I need to step away from the mic for a minute to help this kid. I'll be back in a sec. Okay?
No problem.
You guys keep going.
We'll try not to kill you.
All right.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
it. All right. All right, Mike. Mike and Ted show. We're going to just buy the numbers and buy the book. We're going to go old school.
Hit this Delta team, dude. Let's go.
That's right.
So let's go hit the bronze spigot room.
Well, yes. We'll walk back down the corridor to the dead goblin room.
Mm-hmm.
Although, as we're walking along, well, I guess we'll have to relight our torches. But if there's any
light one
anomaly, light one torch. If there's any anomalies along that corridor, I'd like to, be looking along the corridor as well. Just in case. But I don't think we're going to find anything. Back to the dead goblin room. Open the secret door. Go into the bronze spigot room. That's what we're doing.
So, Ted, can I just not to get too metaphysical. Look at the widths of the corridors in this section. Mm-hmm. Does it not speak to you as if it is so everything has a purpose in this dungeon, right? We have the Great Hall, which was probably a large meeting area. All of these other little areas with these tiny little half-size corridors or less feels like they would be servant accesses or so if we look at that as kind of overall, it seems like this entire southern part of the Great Hall would be almost like the janitor's closets kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or something like it. Okay.
So secret doors, because they didn't want servants to come marching through like all their nice areas all the time, would probably be like a real thing. So that's why I guess I'm just speaking out loud is something we've already determined, but
sure.
So are we searching? We did search this corridor, this east-west corridor between.
I'm asking to search it as we go through it.
Okay. Yeah. We should probably search for one exactly opposite of the small stinky corridor.
That's a great idea. Focusing there. Yeah. At the T intersection point.
Okay.
That would make sense.
So yeah, you get back there safely. You step over the dead bodies. You know that there is definitely a smell a little bit less strong coming from the southern corridor. You have a feeling that's probably because as you noticed with your infravision last time, Mort, that there is a door at the far end of it.
Yeah. We're not going south, but at that T intersection, looking for a secret door to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of generally along the hallway. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily worth like the searching every square inch kind of thing, but like looking for anomalies or.
Yeah, guys, I don't think we have the time to check everywhere. So like key spots, I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And Niall can like guard watching down that hallway so that nothing sneaks up from behind us while you're.
I'll say this: if you want to cover the entire hallway, it'll take. With the three of you, you could probably do it, but it'll be down to a roll. If you want to focus right on that square in the T intersection, I'll just tell you because you're looking carefully there.
Let's focus on that T intersection. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Okay. You don't find anything.
Okay.
Damn.
It takes a turn.
Easy deal for John to make. Jeez.
That was a terrible idea. Whose idea was that?
Yeah.
Would you like to find out there's nothing this way or nothing by finding out this way?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we go back to the dead goblin room. Let's open the secret doors to the north and go to the bronze spigot room.
Yeah, well, let's check it out.
Oh,
which does have a door that's slightly ajar that we haven't even looked through yet.
That's true.
Yeah. So in the the burned goblin room, I don't know if I told you this the last time, but it looks like it was probably at one point like a highly notable priest's residence at one point. Badly treated wooden furniture is all smashed to sticks, thrown to the sides. Painted plaster has been ripped from the walls and piled in a mound. And there is a path amid the litter, which you guys have already marked, which is good. Actually, let me move Miro so folks at home can see this. And the and it looks like this is where Sir Simonet met the goblins and prevailed, even though they were both groups were probably very frightened. But it looks like the door to the north was once expertly concealed by plaster, but since it has fallen apart, it was quite easy for you to find. So you open that door, find yourself in a dusty old chamber.
Right.
And you find a similar sort of concealed door on the northern side.
Right.
And moving through there, any precautions, or are you good?
Let's peek around the corner and make sure there's not like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man monster waiting in there or something.
I mean, if the fear monster left the other room and came into the bronze spigot room, we're dead meat.
Well, I mean, you did close the door behind you, and surely the thing can't open doors.
Yeah, so that should be something that you might want to note on the map, Ted, is that originally that door was ajar. However, you closed it, Mort, because you were kind of being the rear guard, remember, because you made your save. And closed. You may have remembered as well, too, that I had to retcon the existence of that other ajar door on the western wall. And we kind of did that after you had kind of left, or maybe as you were passing through, but we decided because you were all scared to hell that you weren't going to investigate that. So you don't know what's beyond that door. I'm fairly sure. But otherwise you march into the room. There doesn't seem to be any danger there. The fountain is still burbling. It's coming from a 4-foot tall bronze spigot that's carved to look like an upright cod, and the water's like coming out of its mouth in an arc. And the basin appears to be filled with what appears to be clear liquid like water.
Didn't we drink out of it already?
No.
You guys were running. You guys were running full tilt.
We were scared. John, is the cod any kind of religious I know there are animals associated with most of the gods, but I don't remember fish or specifically cod being associated with anybody.
You're definitely in like Thothian areas, right? And you can't. A cod was not associated with Thoth at all, but
It's
a cod is a general.
The cod of God.
Yes, the god, the cod god. But it's not uncommon for a fish to be a representation of water and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I'm super curious about here is, where's the water going? You said that there's like a basin and a fish spewing water in, but where is it going?
That's a very, very good question. You didn't have time to sort of assess it, obviously, because you were overcome with magical fear last time. But when you look at it, you just sort of always just assume when you're looking at fountains, I don't even bother to mention it, that there's plumbing in some way, shape, or form. But this cod and the basin it's attached to is completely absent of plumbing. There is no known source for either the water coming in nor of it draining out of the basin, yet the basin itself never seems to actually fill.
So we can't see a drain at the bottom of the basin.
That's correct.
How deep is the basin, John? Is it just like 6 inches or a foot, or is it like... it doesn't specify.
It doesn't specify, so I would probably say like 2 feet is probably reasonable, I would think.
Like a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it look like
a liquid and see if it smells?
It looks just like the same viscosity and appearance of water. It doesn't smell like anything.
I'm going to stick my finger in the stream that's coming out.
Okay.
And
it splashes over you like water, nice and cool and clear.
And I just take just a drop and I take it on my tongue.
Tastes like water. Tastes good. Yeah. Very clean.
All right. I grab 2 handfuls and I take a big swallow.
It tastes delicious. It doesn't heal you, but it tastes like very clean, very refreshing water.
We do not wash our pits in the cod of God.
Hey, my pits smell like roses, pal. Don't you worry about it.
The rose pits.
Does the fish look like it could move or pivot or anything? Like if you reach up and grab the fish, or is it like bolted in?
No, it seems to be of a piece. I was wrong. The basin does actually have a description. It's shaped as a giant clam shell, so it sort of fits with the motif.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, it's what I described.
So nothing exploded when you drank it or touched it.
Nope.
Did you reach down in the? Were you? Mort will reach down and like fish around for a drain.
You don't see one, and it's clear water too. So like with did you guys relight your torches? I assume.
Yeah, we relit one when we left that last room.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's carrying it then?
Me,
Darius. Yeah.
Okay. And you lit it when you left the room?
Right as we were leaving the whatchamacallit room.
The rubble stalagmite room.
We spent a turn looking for secret doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then it takes a turn to get back to this room. So you have 2 more left. So I just have to note that. Okay. So when Darius leans over your shoulder, Mort, and you look down to the water, you can see it's totally clear, and you can see right to the bottom. There's no sign of a drain anywhere.
Oh, okay.
It's very strange.
Well, I want to feel around in there anyway.
Okay. You don't find anything.
No. Do I feel any sensation of like suction or anything?
Nothing.
Right. Okay.
And I don't. If you answer this, and I forgot. I'm sorry. The fish doesn't like if Niels reaches out, it doesn't like move. Like if he's like carefully, because we've seen eyes and different pieces of animals activate things in the forest. So he's taking like careful attention to the eyes and like any protuberances or something that might do it. He's like jiggling it, see if it'll move.
Yeah,
twist it, rotate it.
Yeah, so you can move it around. You can get your hands on it and look around, and nothing seems to be too strange about it or something that you could twist or move. However, it does look like the fish is a separate piece from the basin, and could, with enough work and time, could probably be detached. Like you could probably take it wholesale off of it looks like the whole apparatus is made out of 2 parts, like the fish and the shell, basically, right? But there are no like parts of the fish that can move around or twist. But you could probably remove the fish. Yeah, Mike.
And does the structure of the fountain go all the way to the floor, or is it just set into the wall?
It's set into the wall. Yeah.
Like a drinking fountain, kind of like they're
right. So
knocking
it's
wall.
no pedestal that might slide out, kind of thing.
No, but I will say that the whole apparatus is not. It's not like part of the wall was deliberately recessed to accommodate the fountain. It's sort of like just abutted right up against the wall, right?
Yep.
Like it was installed against the wall, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I want to do a careful inspection of the floor in front of the fountain for any scuff marks or slide marks or anything like that might indicate something like moves.
Okay. And Ted. And
While he's doing that, Mort's going to back up and look through that slightly ajar door because I don't want anything coming up behind us while we're digging around on the floor.
Okay.
And while they're doing that, and while I go tuck that kid in, Njal will check around kind of either side of the spigot to see if there are any secret doors or any like edges that could be a secret panel leading.
Understood.
East.
Sure. So all that together will take a turn. So I'll mark that off.
Okay, I'll be back in a sec.
No problem. Okay. So the fountain investigators, you do not find anything of note other than confirming what y'all found out, that you could probably detach the fish from the shell. Mort looking in the western door.
Okay.
So it looks like the door itself was like a rickety door, like not an important door, and it's broken and hanging on its hinges. And beyond is a small room, most likely probably a closet. It's 10 feet east to west, 20 feet north to south, and you're entering in from the bottom part of the eastern wall.
Come on. 10 feet east
10
to
feet
west.
Yeah. 20 feet north to south, then you're coming in from the bottom. And it looks probably like it was a closet at one point. It's empty, like basically nothing in there at all. But there is some graffiti in there. And Mort, you know Goblin, don't you? Because you are one. So
I do.
It is in Goblin runic. They use a debased form of the dwarven runic runes, well, much to the dwarves' dismay. And it says, "We are trapped. Grugor went for help but did not return. I am hungry."
Does it look fresh? Does it look like something in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hungry. That's a weird place to leave graffiti. Who's going to find it?
He's probably hiding in the closet from the fear monster.
Yeah. I'm gonna. So I mean, I see that. I must be in the closet. I'm gonna really search the closet quite thoroughly.
Okay. Sure. That'll take a turn. You
Yeah.
find nothing in the closet.
Lame.
Okay, guys.
At that
I'm assuming I
point,
didn't.
Probably about to run out on my torch too.
Yeah, the torch just runs out at that point.
We
Guys, yeah, we got it.
4-turn torch off of mine.
Yeah.
Mort is Mort
Hey,
holding
guys,
it, or is
I'm-
Darius holding it? Sorry, Matt. I just got to clear this up.
I'll have to come back and light it for them. I guess. I think
So-
I had it.
So are you carrying it, Mort?
No, I'll give it to Darius. But
Okay, 1.
'cause
Yeah.
I need my hands free for shield and sword.
Yeah, I always mark like time and who's carrying, so I just need to know.
Yeah.
Matt has something important to say.
Oh, it's incredibly important. I guess we didn't find any doors over there. So, guys,
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
I want to. Oh, we haven't looked over there yet.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I said
wanna-
it. No, I said that the fountain, there was nothing to find in the fountain.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But
So-
Njal was looking at the wall.
Yeah, both characters did not find anything near
okay.
that. Yeah.
I see.
Got it.
Okay.
So Njal says, guys, when you're done, whatever you're doing over there, Mort, I'm going to yank this fish off the wall.
Ooh,
Oh man.
Yikes. Seems destructive.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like there's a better way.
It's a fish with water on it.
So-
We can.
So, Matt,
water shooting fish.
So Njal, you have two choices. You can do it right now with brute force and do an open doors roll, with the possibility of not working. And then you could also take your time, and it looks like with careful work you could probably detach it, but that would probably take 2 turns.
Well, I have a crowbar. I don't want to take that much time. So I have a crowbar. Maybe I'll just try to pop it off using the crowbar. But I'm going to wait until Mort comes back out of the closet just in case this does something bad.
Yeah, we're at that point.
Okay. Yeah, he'll use the crowbar to help him kind of pop the fish off the wall.
Okay, I'll say that shortens the time by half. So using the crowbar takes a turn. And now it's 1 p.m. and don't mind me. You kind of bend a little bit out of shape, right? Because you're kind of jamming it into a seam and sort of using force. So some of the bronze sort of crimps as you kind of pull it off, and but you reach a point where you're able to like pry it off, and it kind of clangs onto the ground, or you catch it or whatever.
Does it keep spewing the water, or is it just a fish now?
So this is the strange thing. When it hits the ground, it does indeed continue to spew water at exactly the same rate from its mouth. There is no indication of a pipe at the base of the tail wherever it popped off the basin, and it's just continually and now it's like spurting water on the ground. It's starting to hit the ground.
Guys, this is perfect. This is the fish of continual water, which I've always dreamed of.
There's got to be a way to cork it.
It's heavy. It's 4 feet tall.
Oh,
damn! I didn't realize it was so
and
big.
It's heavy as shit. So it cannot be packed away, and it's a three slot item in general.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You know what you need to do now, y'all? You need to pick
What's
that thing up and go marching into the goblin camp, yelling "Bath time, motherfuckers!" and just
Oh boy,
that's brutal.
Okay, and nothing of note on the wall when we popped it off, right?
No, unfortunately not. But the water is quickly spreading. It's not filling up, but it's like just.
If he jams his finger into the hole, does it stop?
Does he?
Yeah, sure. I'll
that
stick
it
it.
explodes.
It does. It
Oh,
stops.
I'm gonna lose my finger, aren't I?
It stops. So the fish is like that classic sort of thing where it's like the mouth is just like a little pucker, so you can easily just poke a finger in there and it does stop. You feel no pressure, nothing.
Pull a cork out of the bag and put it in there.
You don't have the bag.
He reaches into his bag. Hey, I ain't got no cord.
You know what we could do though? I got it. I'm going to pull out my dagger and carve off a piece of the bottom of a torch into a sort of a wooden peg.
Okay.
That we could pop into the hole.
Love it. Okay, sure.
That, guys, right. I'm just going to say, and maybe the spirit of David is channeling through me. If we put that in a place that is our safe haven, that is a 100% like guaranteed source of water forever and ever. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
How do you get it out of here?
Well,
because we didn't pry off the basin, only the fish, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I can do two things, right? I have slots. If I drop two things, I have a dagger that we got from that little Scribner's room that never pinged his magic. I have one of two. I'm carrying 2 javelins, so I only need one. If I drop those 2 things, I can carry a 3-slot item. I'll just need to drop it. I'm assuming that it takes both hands, right, John? Like I'm carrying this. It's not in a pack. Or can I put it in my?
You just can't even lift it up. Like it's got to be like it's a 3 thing, and you've got to like drag it along the ground. It's a huge 4 foot.
Like a rope harness for it though, John, and carry it like over in a rope harness. If we were to use like a length of rope and just like make like a basket.
I suppose so, but I'm just like kind of picture it, right? Like it's almost your entire height. 4 feet is like a lot of you. You know what I mean?
Did you say you had a 10-foot pole, Matt? Or Mike?
No, I don't.
None of us have it. Breggy has a 10-foot pole.
I just have javelins.
Because we could, if we enlist the goblins, like when the Ewoks carried R2-D2 through the jungle, right? We, a pole between a bunch of goblins that could hoist it along.
Well,
this might be a sweet thing. Well, I'd rather keep it, but it might be an awfully nice thing to give to a goblin king for his people, the endless source of water.
As you are surrounding the thing and kind of contemplating what to do with it, whoever's closest to the basin kind of jerks their head around and like looks at the water a little bit, and you're like, wait a second, and you notice that it is visibly lower. The water's like visibly lower. Yeah.
So it is draining,
and it didn't take that much time.
Right.
Can we take a pee break?
Yes, it is that time actually.
Okay.
We contemplate the mysteries of water in just a moment. We will be right back. Okay, bladder's empty, beer's full. Let's go.
All right, so I say we sit and watch this drain thing, and I think it's going to reveal something amazing.
I think the something amazing that you're thinking of is going to be a horrible monster that wants to kill us.
That would be amazing.
All right, so go ahead. Yeah.
If I can, John, I want to start dragging the fish towards that door on the west, so that
the goblin door or the closet door?
I think the goblin door.
Right.
Oh wait, no, that's teeny tiny in there, isn't it?
Well, it's 5-foot corridor. It's not a 10-foot corridor. It's
Okay. Yeah. He'll bring that. Open that door, bring that, and push the big fish in there while looking over his shoulder as you guys are describing the basin start to empty.
Yeah, sure. And I made a mistake a couple times that you've been through this room. I should have mentioned that this room, maybe I did the first time, I'm not sure. This room is noticeably more humid than the other
You
room.
mentioned that.
Okay.
Presumably because of all the water from the fountain and the small room.
Okay.
Was the assumption.
I wonder if there's something like in the basin, like eating the water, and we're about to starve it.
Let's find out.
Okay, so how long do you actually want to wait?
Well, I mean, it was probably less than a turn that we saw. It was noticeably lower.
Yeah.
Right. So a turn, I guess, is probably sufficient.
Okay. Let me just check here. Yeah, so I would say by the end of the turn, it is completely empty. Nothing happens when it empties. The air is extremely humid right now. Noticeably more humid. Not hot.
More humid. Okay.
But more humid.
Interesting.
Look, guys, I think we got to get out of here, and not so much from fear of whatever this is, but fear of being stuck without any torchlight as we're trying to escape. But none of that. We don't see any humidity like gathering anywhere, right? Like
no, it's just a feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no haze or anything like that, but and as I said, like I know that we usually associate humidity with cloying heat as well, but there's none of that, right? So you're still like but it's like a dank dungeon, right? But even more dank now, right? It's just extremely. There's a lot of moisture in the air, you might say, which is what humidity is.
Yeah. I'm going to check the basin and see if anything has revealed itself.
Nothing has revealed itself. It looks exactly the same, just empty.
And now that it's empty, is there any way to move the basin, or does it, like it rotates out of the way now because it's not as heavy or something like that?
Unfortunately not. The only thing that's rather strange and unnatural is that there is no sheen of wetness on the bottom. There's no like little pools of droplets and like little crevices. It's like when the last water is gone, it's bone dry. Like water was never in there.
Oh.
Not bone. I mean, there's a general humidity of the room, which of course would still probably lend it a kind of tone of wetness, I guess, like anything else. But it's rather strange that there's no puddles of water left or anything like that.
What do you think would happen if I got in the basin?
I think you'd be sitting in a basin.
It would drink you up. Whatever we do, we just got to do it fast, man. We're going to be stuck in those caves without any light.
All right, so are we going back to the goblin camp?
I mean, we don't have anything to report to them yet. What's the point?
Well, I think we're going to go back to the goblin camp and then try to go north.
It's either that or we go to the goblin camp and begin setting up for the kite maneuver.
Or do we go check the eastern door, in Stalactite room? Or do we go check the southern door in the little tiny hallway?
I think
we already taken those off the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we go north from the goblin camp, with the smell of undead, that kind of ties into the way that we think this map might connect to the map of the Debouchement
level.
Right. If we go north from here, it should hook up to those western areas. Remember where we found that weird pool that we think has a tentacle monster in it?
I remember it. I just think that that's also really far away from here. We know that set guys are north of us, and we know that there's like probably zombies or something directly north of us too. So both of those feel like they're going to end up being combat encounters.
It can't be that far because the goblins said they came through the double doors in the Great Hall and kind of directly from.
Yeah, but picture the map, the Debouchement map, right? The Debouchement map has those tentacle rooms directly to the west of the debouche room. You go through that catacomb where we found like the magic spear and we found, the zombies or the ghouls or whatever. And then you go past that, and that was the tentacle room. And we are far south of the debouche room, man. So you're talking like massive amounts of tunnels between us and anywhere up there is kind of what I'm worried about.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think the goblins headed south from the the sort of pyramid and the diamond room there, south of the debouchement room, and ended up down here.
I think
Mike, can you see my pointer?
Yeah, I see your pointer. I think you guys are cracked.
So remember Haram, is that his name? What was
The
his
leader?
Not Grugor.
name? Jesus Christ. Whatever. The leader told you that he came up through the caverns below, talked to Gog, and made his way up, and then down through. And then they told you that they lost a guy with a spear trap near a barricade that was erected by the beastmen, right, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So like,
That's right. There was a level change,
and they also indicated to you that they were working on the assumption that the halflings were still in control of the Debouchement. So this little patrol has been lost, right? They are not aware of recent developments, so they did not come from the Debouchement.
Yeah, I mean, I still think peeking up, because the problem with the fear room is I love, we have this kiting plan. I like it, but the problem is that it puts one of our guys at extreme risk, right? And it's one that we like.
I'm fine with him.
So I think it's at least worth looking up to that through that north, because we know that that's the right direction.
Okay. I mean, I'm down. Whatever. You guys,
right. I mean, it might kill us all, but at least it's worth a look.
So back to the goblin camp, north door.
Okay, as you are moving westward, and before you actually approach that door, the door itself actually opens. As you're like pulling this bronze fish along the ground, and you just see a couple of like yellow eyes just sort of like peer around the corner, and they're like, "Oh, it's you!" And you can see it's little Lara Keem, the female witch doctor. She kind of pokes her and she opens it wide. Come, what is that? What is that? Oh, that great fish. What have you done?
Oh yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to have a fresh source of water with us.
And so, as you drag it in, they're like, oh, they all crowd around, and you kind of have to like slap some hands away from your makeshift cork. You know what I mean? They're like, what is that? What is that?
Oh no, I'll pop that cork and get them all wet, and then pop it back in.
They scream as the water comes over them. They're like, nasty waters, as they kind of like as they fly back away from it. Yeah.
This is the difference between the Imperial goblins and these underground ones. Imperial goblins are fecund and clean.
Yes. Well, Harab comes up to you, the chief, and he's like comes right up to your nose more because you guys are face to face. He's like, that was very rude, very rude. What news from the east?
Magic. Did you see that? A disconnected fish spewing water everywhere? When's the last time you saw one of those?
Nasty waters. Good for only drinking.
Well,
now we're all wet. But you're alive. This is good. Yes. You found an escape? Yes.
Working on it. We have not found the direct route, but we have an idea. And
the Black Knight?
At the north door. Oh, yeah, he was fine.
They're like, and they see you kind of like moving towards the north, and they're like, no, we told you, awful sounds coming from there.
I can make awful sounds too, and I whip out my dagger and my shield, and I go up to the door and listen at it.
They're all like moaning. They're like, whoa, oh. But so many of us died. Even if you defeat what's beyond the door, there are still the Setites.
Oh.
We didn't kill them all. We did our best. But they're strong, so strong, with their red and shiny armor and their cruel, cruel weapons.
Ooh, red and shiny armor, he says. Ooh. Hey, did Grugor ever come back?
And they're all like, oh, Grugor. And they all point towards the north. They're like, Grugor.
Ah, interesting. Okay. I say we listen at the door.
Okay.
Wait, okay, Mike is sad.
I am sad.
Okay,
Mike.
Sad.
I am sad.
You haven't taken the plunge yet. You can still convince them, Mike.
I do feel like getting into any kind of combat encounter is like it's a fail situation. It's like
okay, so you take a turn to listen at the door, and I think you did this before actually. And you don't even need to roll. You can easily hear the exact same thing that they were describing, which you probably heard before, which is low guttural moaning and growling. There is no light coming out from underneath that door.
I mean,
well,
I feel like we need to open the door and see what we're dealing with before we can make an accurate decision about what to do. I mean, if there's one lone zombie in there, that's one thing. If it's 20 zombies, if it's, Walking Dead situation, then Mike is right.
Okay. Well,
hands coming around the edges, John.
Have spears? Do the goblins have spears?
Oh, they do, yeah.
Okay, can we form like a semicircular like spear wall around the door while Mort opens it so that we can have them help us repel the horde of monsters?
They absolutely refuse to get anywhere near that door. All of their camping and stuff like that is like away from that area, from that door.
Okay.
Can I berate them in Goblinish for being cowardly, useless goblins, and they must honor their king and find their way home because the tribe depends on them?
So they look at you like a little bit angrily, but you can tell like they're still very afraid of their situation. And like I said, remember, they're all malnourished and fucked up, right? They don't have enough food. Sure. They're dwindling and all that kind of stuff. So they're in bad shape. And so they kind of take offense, but at the same time, they're really, they look up at you with watery eyes as they're like, we're counting on you to get us out.
And I'm counting on you to have our backs while I open this door. If this is worse than I think it is.
This isn't the way. It's not the way. You're going to kill us all by opening that door.
Okay. So if this isn't the way, which is the way? If there was one, you'd have taken it.
I told you before you left, it's death. You're going to meet your death no matter what. When we sent you east, we told you explicitly that was probably only the least deadly.
Hey, have we ever thought about trying to destroy the circle in the fear room from outside the room?
What, like by hosing it in with water from a fish?
Or trying to scrape it and break it with like a spear or anything else like that?
I mean, I'm worried that'll just release the beast.
It's possible. In which case we do the kiting thing that we talked about and try and trap it between the secret doors. But
in order to get in there to break the circle, we have to be in there with the beast.
Well, no. I mean, if the circle, I don't know how big the circle is inside the fear room, but spears or poles lashed together or something like that. I mean, I don't even know what the circle's made out of. Is it chalk or is it like silver and like engraved in the floor? Like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, John, how big was that circle in the floor
I can tell you. Room? So it was a 20-foot diameter circle directly in the center of the room. And it was like blue glowing runes sort of thing. It basically, you had entered the room and those runes, they weren't visible, and then they flared into life, and there was a fear effect that got most of you except for Mort. So that fear thing was not a result of the creature that caused the rest of the party to flee. That was actually the ward, right? And that ward, Mort could see, basically faded away whenever he had to confront his greatest fear, which was the giant four-armed baboon. Okay. So now, once again, Mort's mind was filled with terror as he was attempting to catch the rear guard and fight off the 4-armed baboon. But he does vaguely remember that in his mind's eye that ward did not seem to flare after that initial attack against the rest of the party.
What if it's done? What if it was a one and done? Or if it takes 24 hours to reset or like whatever?
Because didn't the goblins pass through that room?
Yeah, weeks ago.
They did. But what I'm trying to point out is that there are two things going on, right? There was the ward, and then there was oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Ted. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So not a one and done because they triggered it and then we triggered it. But
yes,
I mean, what if it doesn't? What if it can't activate again that fast? I don't know. I do think it might be worth just before we go into zombie hell, right? And you know I have a fear of zombies. Why don't we just go peep through the fear door real quick and just see if there's a big baboon there and he chases us? Well, game on. Then we do the kiting thing. We're ready to do that anyway. And if he does, if there is nothing there, maybe we can destroy the circle from outside. I don't know. You don't know either.
I mean, it's okay with me to look to do that. I mean, the only question I'll have is, while we are here at this door, do we just want to open it and peek? And then if there are 20 stormtroopers worth of zombies in there, we can close it.
Goblin, goblin get.
I just don't. I just don't like operating, with unknown factors, behind me. I'd like to know what's there, and if it's really bad, we don't go through. If it's one monster, we can get in there and deal with it, maybe, and then we'll know something.
I'm actually I'm wondering if it's better to just try and book it through the fear room. We're going to fail our fear check again, but then we're out back in the Great Hall and we're compelled to run, which is what we're doing anyway.
But the problem is that you're compelled to run away from it, which would be directly east into Beastmen land, which is not where we're at.
But if that had happened, if it had worked that way on the way through, we would have run back to the Great Hall. But we didn't. We ran to one of the other doorways in there, which was also considered away. So
I think what Matt's saying is if you're heading east and you get afraid, you have to keep going east. You can't double back.
Yeah, that's the problem with booking it through.
The Great Hall, but you need to double back to go through the double doors.
We have to go back west to try to go through the double doors. Exactly. Yeah. And if we're under the fear effect, we won't go west. We'll only go east or south.
Conceivably just barrel through and straight north out of the fear room. If we're just heading straight through the fear room.
That door was locked, though. Remember?
I can tell you straight off. If you ended up being forced to go east, you would continue to go east, east as much as you possibly could. Probably, I would say, through the northern eastern barricade, if possible. You would probably then be stopped. You'd be. Well,
not great.
You know what? Like, it depends on what the beastmen would do if they're even there now, right? You don't even know what the situation is back in the Great Hall because you left in the midst of a battle, for one thing. Mm-hmm. So I would say, but let's say all things being equal, if you ended up retreating through the eastern door out of fear and finding yourself blocked by all barricades, then you would be funneled through the western double door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
But it would take time, right? Because you'd be compelled by fear to check all of those barricades.
Or would you be compelled by fear to go through the open door? It's the open door. It's a giant open door.
Yeah.
And it's like, come through this door.
I think it would probably rule that you would, let's split the difference. I think that you would probably quickly assess in terror and fear that the barricades are impassable. And then you would probably immediately turn around and go through the double doors, looking around in a you know what I mean? That sort of thing. But we're doing a lot of what ifs here. So,
Well, here's another what if. And I'm going to ask the goblin leader. Mm-hmm. All right. If you don't like this door to the zombies.
Who does?
We went east. It wasn't working out. So that leaves we either go north to the zombies or we go back through the room of fear. Which one do you fear more?
And they look around like, they kind of look around and like, we don't want to make the choice, but if I suppose that if we had to choose, I guess the fear that we know versus the fear that we don't.
Okay. So if we went that way, and would you follow?
They look very unhappy about it. I would say that if you want them to come with you as part of that, without first securing the exit and then coming back for them, you would have to make a reaction roll.
Can I ask one more question? Was the fear effect triggered when we crossed the circle or as soon as we went into the room?
When you cross the circle.
Is there enough room around the circle to skirt it without triggering it?
Very barely. Like Ted's circle is a little bit smaller, but there is a slight path.
Well, if it's a 20-foot circle in a 30-foot room, there's 5 feet on either side.
Yeah, exactly. So
yes.
Yeah.
So
which is enough for a goblin. I don't know about a big tubby Darius.
No, I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying like you would have to. There's no crow flies to the other door.
No,
like you have to
we have to consciously skirt it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We could maybe try it, and maybe one of the goblins fucks up because they're going behind us and fucks it up.
There is also an ajar door to the west in that fear room. And the way that Ted actually has the door is actually opposite. So the door is actually open to allow you to quickly slip into it from the south. So just be aware.
Like this?
Jesus, guys.
Yes.
I just think that this is a better exploration than going into Zombieland.
And just to be clear, just so you're aware of your options, there is a very small door to the north. That door that Ted you have there is actually...
Oh, it's a smaller door?
It's one of the 5-foot doors, yeah.
And that's the one that Darius tried when he was invisible and it was locked, right?
And it's right in the corner, Ted. Sorry. Sorry, say that again.
I mean, I remember when we first did this, Darius under the fear effect tried that door and it was locked.
Is that
yes, you're right. You're right. I do remember that. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to give the goblins an impassioned speech. And this time, instead of berating them for, being cowards about the zombie thing, I'm going to compliment them on their bravery and their willingness to face fears that they have faced once before, as brave goblins should, and that under our careful and wise, benevolent leadership, if they were to bravely accompany us, we will get out. But if they fail and they remain here in shame and fear, they will be abandoned forever by their tribe and lost to the end of time. But only with our wise and noble guidance will they ever hope to, for any of their number, to hopefully one day rejoin the tribe.
And you have to carry our fish.
Our hands will be filled with weapons in your defense. You must carry the water of life. The cod of God is in your hands.
The cod of God. Okay, roll me a 2d6 and add your charisma modifier, if any.
Okay, I have a modifier of +1.
Okay.
There you go. That's something.
And I'm going to roll 2d6, and I've achieved a 7, so that's an 8.
Okay, so they... you can see they could come across their faces that your impassioned plea. They've at least Harab and Larakim have come to the terms that this is a turning point for them, right? Like they've got to make a decision. Like if they stay here, they're going to die.
True.
And that this is probably their best option, if any. And so they're really trying to mobilize and get rid of their fear, but they can't quite commit. They just don't see a good end, as was evidenced with the other times that you've talked to them. Okay, so they want to leave, but they will not go with you. They think it is certain death. So
okay,
they need some assurance that the coast is clear. Whatever path you take, whether that is what supposedly the undead to the north or the fear, they need assurances.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we have one of us try and sneak around the circle? Okay. Or
things in there. Like the circle part's not the important part.
You don't know that. We don't know what we don't know until we go and look, right? Summoned creatures have durations, Ted. Otherwise that room would be full of like 4-armed apes and fucking,
No. The circle caused you to face your greatest fear, right? But there was still a creature in there that took a swipe at me.
I thought the creature was summoned by the circle.
No, neither. So there was two things. There was a circle, and all that was just a fear effect. Like it didn't manifest in any sort of way in your mind. It just caused extreme fear. All the party failed that saving throw and ran for their lives except for Mort. Okay, Mort, who made his saving throw, then had to face what apparently was some sort of creature that could manifest as your greatest fear. Okay, that manifested to Mort as a foreign giant baboon. That manifests no matter what. It attacked Mort and hit, but Mort made a saving throw, and so he was able to maintain his composure while he retreated and watched the rear guard. Okay, yeah.
But so this appeared to be unrelated, like the activation of the fear creature, which to me was a 4-armed baboon, was unrelated to the crossing of the circle, apparently.
Well, it did manifest when the ward was tripped, right?
So we don't know. Maybe
we don't actually know. Right. Okay, I'm with you.
If we're metagaming here, to me, it feels like there's a fear saving throw, and then a phantasmal killer or something like that manifests, right? Like,
okay,
that seemed to be the case. Yeah.
Okay, so let's bravely go north.
And how many hours has it been, John, since we went through there?
Shit, man, I have no idea. A few, 3 or 4.
2 hours, maybe. No, can't have been 3 or 4 hours.
Well my 18 chart started at 9 a.m. and that was back in the Great Hall. So it's now a little bit past 1. So I would say it's probably been like 1, 2, 3, a little bit 3 hours and change probably.
Oh.
Darius, do you want to go through there, sneaking along the wall, invisible with your little cloaky thing?
I kind of, Matt, I hate to be that guy, but I want to save it for a possible escape. You know what I'm saying?
Up to you, my friend.
I got one last use out of it, and I'm kind of like, I think even, I think I would just save it for like when the shit hits the fan,
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Why don't we, Mort? How you feeling, man? Do you want to do the kite thing that we tried to do? And that when we talk about kite, this is something we discussed, which is we would try to lure the creature out of there, which seemed in the past to have been stopped by doors, into a hallway where we could close the door behind it and get out, and close the door on the other end before it can get out.
I'm now thinking, based on what we've just been discussing, that might not be necessary. That if we are able to we know the circle's there, we can avoid it the second time. We won't trigger anything, and we sneak through. I'm willing to put on the rope and be dragged out and go first and be dragged out in case I'm totally wrong. But I'm starting to think we can just, very carefully avoid the circle, not trigger it, and get out.
Well, let's do that then. You can be the point of the spear. You'll go through. You'll sneak. We'll have a rope to you, and the rope is just in case you get like petrified or start running or whatever.
Yeah.
And
the problem is dragging the rope back without crossing the ward. If I get all the way through and nothing happens and I untie the rope and you pull it back, you could trigger the ward. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I guess if the rope goes slack, we could just like pick it up as we go along.
What are you guys moving at right now for dungeon exploration?
I'm still at 90.
Yeah, I'm at 90. I could drop one thing and be at 120, unless I'm carrying 90. The fish.
I'm at 90. If I drop one equipped item, which would be hard, I could be at 120.
Okay, so the party's moving at 90. Okay, just wanted to know. Yeah. Okay, so I guess you're moving back to the spigot room.
Yes.
And then okay.
And then I'll open the door. I'll tie a rope around my waist.
Yeah.
Open the door. Assess. Enter the room carefully, avoiding the circle or where I believe the circle to be.
Yeah.
Really
assuming there's no baboon in there, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be a baboon in there.
Okay, let's just go piece by piece. So you've got the rope securely fastened behind you. How far behind is the rest of the party holding on to the other end of the rope?
I think we're in the. Oh, go ahead.
I say it's a 50-foot rope, so he would. Let's see, what's that like? That's like 30. So yeah, y'all would need to be with the rope, kind of near that door to the closet.
All right, and I'll be in the doorway, Matt. and John and Ted, I'll be in the doorway to the fear room, watching Mort to see like if anything happens, like what if he can't scream or like whatever, right? So I'll be like outside the room, but in the doorway.
So I'm going to say like just getting back from the goblin camp to the door, in addition to like getting everything rigged up and everything like that, will take an additional turn. And so that is when Darius's torch goes out. So we need another torch lit. And Darius, I assume you're
actually no, because that way we'll have a fresh torch for this whole shenanigans, right?
That is good.
Okay,
right,
so
what are you doing with the fish, Matt? Doing it?
Why don't we? Do we want to leave it in the goblin camp room?
I'm hoping that we can convince them to come along and they'll carry it, but I don't think you should bring it.
Let's leave it. We'll leave it in the spigot room.
Okay. So they seem to be more into you going they're really hoping that this works for you, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once again, they sort of wish you farewell, like they're never going to see you again. But because you did return from Sir Simonit, they have a little bit more hope that you actually guys know what you're doing. So you move over there and you get the rope tied up and all that kind of good stuff. And Mort, as Darius is right behind you with the torch over your head, and y'all is back in the closet thing, you open the door.
Before I open the door, I want to shout back to the goblins, remember the name of Mortis J. Gobliano, the bravest of goblins.
Shout. What are you
ruler of the castle. Okay,
then
so
I open the door. Bravely.
You open the door, and there you do not see the glyph on the ground at all. However, dominating the center of the room,
oh god,
consuming your mind with fear, is a giant four-armed baboon that whips its tusked head around and glowers at you.
Shut the door.
I'm going to do this. I didn't shut the door.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, do you have all those fingers up, or do you?
I do.
All right. So you shut the door, and at the moment, of course, it shuts, it goes like, bam, and you can hear something solid like ram into the door, and then all is silent.
All right. Now we set up the kite plan.
It was a good theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we set up the kite plan.
All right.
Okay. So we need to lure it into the secret room, right? Isn't that the idea? The little secret corridor.
No, I see. I think that secret thing is too small. I think we have a lot more flexibility in that long
hallway,
right? Because that'll give us more time to close the door behind it and close the door at the other end. Otherwise, the timing would be so tight since it's such a small space.
Okay. So Mort needs to go back to the goblin camp and strip down so he's fast. Right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah, and I think Darius, your job can be hide in that secret door hallway, the little one there, so that your job can be to bust out and close the door behind him when he goes in. And y'all will start off in the middle of that hallway that leads to the goblin camp with the rope, just in case, like he's the safety in case Mort gets stuck or paralyzed or something. He can drag him along behind him. But yeah, when he goes and hears Mort screaming, "Go, go, go!" then he'll run through, and then he'll be ready to close the door after Mort comes through at the far end of the goblin camp.
I love
you understand this plan, John? Because I get it.
I might need just a refresher. So
all right, let me try, Matt. So in the bronze spigot room,
yes,
will be Mort stripped down so he's lean and fast.
Got
the
it.
rope.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He will go to the door to the north into the fear room, open it up, and try and lure the monster to chase towards him.
Gotcha.
He immediately turns around and runs.
Mm-hmm.
He runs into the 30-foot corridor between the spigot and the goblin camp.
Got it.
Okay. Darius is waiting in the 10-foot secret door corridor.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So as Mort and Niall retreat ahead of the monster, they will shut the door from the goblin camp on the 30-foot corridor.
Yep.
Darius waits till the creature's in that corridor, comes up, shuts the door behind it, and then all of us, including the goblins, go around through the dead goblin room and up through the secret corridor and book it through the fear room.
Understood. Got it.
This is predicated on.
No way
Oh,
this
he's
can
so
go
happy.
This is predicated on the fact that this thing can move out of the room but can't open doors.
Right. Understood. Yep.
If it can open doors,
We're
clever,
all hosed.
clever girl.
If it can open doors, it would have, right?
Well, one assumes, but it may not even be able to leave the fear room. So this may be all a bunch of hooey for nothing, but that's the plan.
Okay.
If it can't leave the room, then we just sit here and we shoot it with arrows until it's dead from outside.
I don't have any arrows.
Okay. Key point, Darius. When you set yourself up in the secret chamber there, is the secret door leading north shut?
I think that it is shut.
Yes.
And I am going to, right before the plan activates, I'm going to use my last use of Blaird's cloak.
Okay. Now you are okay. That's good. I understand everything. Avaricios, sorry, Y'all, you were back in the goblin camp, right?
No, he has to, it's only 50 feet of rope. So he's going to start in the middle of that 30-foot hallway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he'll start running as soon as it goes.
Just to keep the slack up with Mort, right?
Yeah.
If I get petrified or paralyzed the moment I open the door and he needs to drag me away.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's got to be within rope range.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question
as soon
is,
as I come looking at him like run, he moves and I move and we shut the door behind us when we get into the goblin room.
So Mort is self-sufficient with his infravision, but there is the question of light with Darius and Y'all. So Y'all, if you're in the corridor, you will need light. And Darius as well, if you are in the secret room, you will also need light.
Right. What I think we should do is just throw a torch in the corner of the bronze spigot room so that room is lit, right?
And then it'll shine down both ways.
And then, John, I don't actually think I want to have a light in the secret door room, just because then, for all we know, it might see light coming through the door, or when I open it, it might distract it or whatever.
Got it.
So as soon as I hear it, then I open that door, and then I have light to shut the door behind it.
Okay,
Does that
cool.
make sense?
Are you? So I'm just asking a series of questions just so I can understand how this unfolds. Are you telling the goblins what your plan is?
Yep.
Yes or no? Sorry,
I was thinking we should, because then they could actually be waiting in the dead goblin room.
Yeah, they could be waiting in the dead goblin room.
Okay, so they. I'm sorry to be annoying, but they don't want to leave their room because they're worried that if they leave the southeastern door, that they're going to be attacked by Sir Simonet.
Then they're just going to have to accept the fact that the thing is coming and they better deal with it. So, okay.
I mean, we can also tell him, like, we talk to him. He's cool. Don't go south. We've kept him down south. As long as you don't go south, he's not going to bother.
It would require another reaction roll to convince them, but probably would. Yeah, it would another reaction roll. Do you want to try it?
Sure.
Okay.
It's your charisma, like
2d6 plus.
We can draw the whole plan out for them, John, just like on the dirt on the floor.
Yeah.
Right. So that they get it.
So they're goblins. They're not exactly the brightest bunch, but they can immediately assess what the immediate hole is that if Mort gets scared, it could be an issue, right? So they're like, okay, they like it because they don't have to do shit. You know what I mean? So they're willing to try, and they like the fact that you're going to slam that door, so you're not going to allow the thing to come in. If it's not bothered by door, if it's stopped by doors, so they're okay with it. If you want to move them into the dead goblin room, you will have to convince them with a roll. Do you want to do that?
Well,
I'll tell you what.
I'll try.
This might help. I pull out spikes and a hammer, and I say, "What if I spike Sir Summit in and spike his door to the south so he can't get out?"
I'll give you a +2 to the roll.
Why don't we just go talk to Sir Simonet and just be like, "Hey, man, we're going to try and get these goblins out of your way. Can you just hang out?"
He'll take more
Well,
time.
they won't believe it.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Let's just. I'm going to spike the door. It doesn't even have to be very well. They'll understand. They'll believe it.
What
Okay,
if he
cool.
hears you spiking it and decides to shock lance you? It's like,
And come on, Mike. We got to do something.
all right.
Let's do it.
I'm going to spike the door, so I'll ditch my spikes, and I'm going to leave the hammer
Okay.
as well, which means that. Does anybody have one slot they can take a large sack or something?
Yes, I do. Let me look
Okay,
here.
take a large sack, and then I'm going to take off my armor
Mhm.
and move that into my backpack. which means that I still have all my stuff, but I'm at 120.
Okay, perfect. I dig it.
Okay.
Easier to run from the monster.
Okay, so Ted, I'm going to give it to you. If you spike the door, that'll allow them to quell their fear enough that they'll move into the room, into the dead goblin room. So they will hang out there amongst all that wooden detritus. As you are spiking in loosely under the door, you do hear a voice. It's like, friends, I hope you're not doing what I think you're doing.
It's all good, buddy.
Very well. I'll trust you for now, knowing that you are probably fully aware of the consequences of attempting to keep me here.
I'll explain everything later.
Very well, friend. I trust you.
Y'all can pull that on the way out. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so okay, so I'm going to say this. Well, we'll speed things ahead to like the execution of the plan. Getting everything ready, convincing the goblins, tying the ropes, all that kind of stuff, marking it all out, mapping it all out, spiking the door, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say is going to take 2 turns. Okay?
Okay.
That's fair.
Do the goblins have any additional torches that we can refresh our supply with? Or are they...
Not really, no.
Okay.
Yeah. They can also exist in the dark if they want to. They gave you what they had, if they gave you anything.
Gotcha.
Okay, so... Right. Okay, so you've got 4 turns left on Darius's torch. You've already, I'm going to say, so you need to take 1 torch out of your inventory, the one that you're going to throw into the spigot room to just light that room. So just mark that off. That's gone. And now you are in place. Torch is in place. Mort's at the door. Nyal's got the backup in the hallway. Darius is quiet in the secret room, and the goblins are waiting for the signal to go. Okay? Mort, what do you do?
Okay, hold on. What I'm doing is adjusting my equipment list so that it's up to date. Okay. All right. So ropes around my waist. I go up to the door and I've checked. Everyone's in place.
Everyone's in place.
Everyone's in place.
I got it.
You got this, man.
All right. Mort.
I'm so ready. Go for it. Yeah.
All right. He's going to open the door, slap his little goblin ass, do that at the monster, and run.
Okay, so you open the door. It's the exact same thing. The baboon's like right there. You're like, oh, shit. Now, here's the thing, is that when you're at the door and you're not beyond the door, you are not in the 20-foot radius of its fear thing. Okay, so you see it and you're scared, but it's not like a magically induced thing. Right, but the moment you open the door and you leave it open and don't slam it shut like the last time you did it, the thing is like, Wah! And it takes like all 4 of its arms, goes down till it's like a hexapedal creature, and just like plows towards the door. Yeah. So at that point, we will roll for initiative. Now this could actually go well for you, because if you win initiative and you're moving at 120,
right,
it can't catch up.
That is the plan. I hadn't anticipated initiative. That's a very.
I don't think we
can I get a surprise round or something?
Huh? No,
I ripped open the door and ran. I mean, it's shouldn't I get a surprise round?
No, you don't surprise. I mean, no, you don't. It's a magical thing. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, well, it's still combat, right? If you're turning around and running, well, let me think.
Give him a circumstantial bonus to initiative.
Well, I just don't think it's something that you could get out of scot-free. Like you, well, I don't know.
I mean, I see both points here. Like, in a realistic sense, if you open the door and immediately start running and you're faster than whoever's chasing you, even if it has a really good reaction rate, you're faster. Okay.
Right.
But it's a game. The point is, like, I open the door and maybe it's right there. That's how the game works. So
no, it was in the same spot. So what I'm going to say is this is actually similar to the way that David covered all of his bases with Onware when he assassinated Blondveg, is that you have accounted for all of the contingencies. So therefore, when you discover that the fear effect does not overcome you immediately, the door, because you have not stepped within its radius, that your plan goes off but you're kind of surprised that you basically have your wits about you. So you're like, oh shit, it's there, and you're like, fuck it, I'm out of here. So you just turn around and you leave the door open, and you book it at 120 or whatever that is running speed, and the thing comes after you through the door. So it does indeed move through the door into the chamber, just like pounding after you as fast as it possibly can. Just roll. And you
I'm like,
squeal
incoming.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm yelling at Niall, incoming.
And Niall starts running through the door in the west there.
Okay, so the rope sort of tightens a little bit, and then as y'all's running westward, and then you basically screech around the corner into the western corridor. As you move through it, you can hear the thing like slam into the southern wall of the spigot room as it can't kind of catch itself. But then as you're looking backwards, you can see like two paws from its left side basically like grab that edge of the hallway and just wrench itself bodily into the hallway, and it fills the whole thing because it's only 5 feet wide, right?
And then as soon as we are into the goblin camp room, I yell clear and slam the door.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're basically through
so that Darius can hear me.
Yep. So you burst into the goblin camp, tripping slightly over the rope as it's slack with Njal and the goblins all like back in the corner, and its speed has further reduced because it's a 5 foot wide corridor and the thing is very big. And so it's like as it's kind of muscling its way through.
Right.
So Darius.
Nope. Yes, I do my thing. When I hear it slam into the southern door, I give it like a 3-second beat.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear it going into the hallway, I'll open the secret door and I'll slam that door behind it.
Okay, boom, slam. So there's like a slam, like from either end, like real quick in succession. I know I made a mistake. The goblins are not there; they're in the other room.
And then Darius, you should start moving north immediately, and we're going to all come around and join you. But you should start moving.
Now I'm invisible, John. So I just want to let that be clear.
How long does that last again? Sorry.
10 turns.
10?
10.
3? Really? That seems like an odd number to me.
Wait. It's 33 turns. 3 turns.
30
minutes per time.
Yeah.
30 minutes per time, and then you can do that 3 times. So I've got 3 turns of invisibility.
Marked.
I'm going to move right up to the door. Now you can stop my action because I'm going to just go and try and sneak around that south and then wall to get back to the through the door we came to. But we can resolve that whenever you want.
Before you do that, Mike, are you going to tell the goblins behind you that the coast is clear or not?
Yeah. I just say door's shut, and then I move.
Okay, cool. All right. So as you quickly just skitter your invisible way up to the northern door and into the fear room at the same time, Njal and Mort, who are alone in the goblin camp now, you see the door shudder and bed just boom, and then similar to the way that it happened the last time Mort checked on the door, there's just silence. No more growling or shouting or anything like that. But after that initial thud of impact, quiet. Okay.
All right.
All you can hear slightly vaguely is you hear excited goblin chattering coming from the southeast. All right.
Yeah. So Mort, hold. I can't see shit. Hold my hand while we go south.
All right. Yeah. Just follow my rope. And I would gather that up and actually, I don't want to be tripping over it anymore. And I'll take Njal around through that little 10-foot corridor, through the dead goblin room, through the 10-foot corridor,
right on
into the spigot room.
Okay.
At which point there should be a torch there waiting for us.
We're going to take our quick second break, but what I'm going to say is the plan went perfectly. You all meet up. Darius is in the old fear room against the wall, and the rest of you meet up with the goblins in the basin room. Okay, and we'll leave it there. So you've got all of your goblins, Mort and y'all in the basin room, and Darius is scouting ahead in the fear room itself, and we will be right back. Okay, we're back after the second break. Beer, my beer's not full, but my bladder's empty. The plan went off without a hitch. The creature appears to be trapped within that corridor. Actually, might be a good good idea, Ted, to maybe make a marker or some sort that creature is there. just for future reference, just in case. So you are now all in that room. It's rather cramped now. Remember how humid it is as well. And you've got 12 goblins total, 10 regulars and the 2 chiefs with you. Yes, Matt.
John, as we go through that little corridor with the 3 doors in the south, y'all will take the spike out of the door so that our knight friend can get out of there.
Okay. I hear you,
He's like,
friend, and thank you for your wise decision.
Yeah. Good luck to you. I mean, I think we trapped the scary monster guy up in the hallway that runs between where the goblins were and that spigot room. So I'd avoid that if I were you.
Do tell. Well, that is excellent news. I mean, this is sort of like echoing out from the chambers, and he says, once I find myself able to traverse the halls once again, I will not forget this favor.
Well, you've been fortunate to deal with the AV club, so remember us, and we'll keep an eye out for you in the halls.
The AV club. I like the sound of that. All right. So the goblins are like quaking in fear all over again. They're like, "That's him! That's him!"
Well, go north. Get out. He's not going to get you. Go.
You can hear how horrible his voice is. Terrifying.
Damn dirty goblins.
All right, Darius. So I'm going to say like the whole plan execution took a turn. So Darius, you have 2 invisibility turns left, and you are sort of a little bit by yourself up there. You're aware of what's going on behind you, but is there something you wanted to do before everyone joins you up there?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna put the theory to the test that we can skirt the fear thing. So I'm gonna just move.
Mm-hmm.
Is that door to the east actually open? Because I don't know if we ever had the wherewithal to shut it behind us.
I think
Mort closed. I think Mort closed it because he still had his wits.
Yeah, because I was worried about gargoyles and stuff coming in. That door is shut.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to move, assuming I get there without triggering the magic trap.
You don't.
I'm going to go to that door,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to just open it because I'm not wasting my invisibility to listen.
Okay, cool. So you open it up, and for the first thing that you notice is that it appears to be quiet. When you first left this room, it was a pitch battle between beastmen and gargoyles flying all over the place, right? That does not appear to be the case now. So there, if I remember correctly, there's no light though. So you are limited by what your torch has. So you're basically
unlit torches and wall sconces.
Unlit torches on wall sconces. Yeah.
Where am I? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I apologize.
No, you're right because there's no light. There were unlit torches in the wall sconces. But
unlit torches. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. Brackets for a score torches. Yeah. Okay, so your torchlight is basically illuminating 30 feet ahead, which is that corridor, and a little bit in the room itself. So you could see at the edge of your torchlight, Darius, that, and remember, your light actually does emanate through the invisibility. Just not the source of it. That in that first square, you do see little specks of blood on the ground.
Okay.
Beastie blood.
And it's been a couple of hours since we came through there. We determined that it was like 2 or 3 hours.
2 to 3-ish hours. Yeah.
All right. So I am going to creep. The fear thing did not go off, right?
Nope.
Okay.
As long as you were going around the edge. Yeah.
I'm going to speak loudly, kind of shut the door, but I'll whisper loudly to people coming up behind me and be like, stay next to the walls and you'll be safe. Yeah.
Okay. You guys hear that?
All right.
And then I'm going to go, John, to the edge of the Great Hall, and I'm going to peer around and see if I see any activity.
Okay, so you don't see any activity. However, you can see that the remains of the battle that occurred here. There are huge chunks that are recognizable as pieces of the stone gargoyles, the ibis-shaped gargoyles, that are scattered along the ground. Remember, you're only kind of seeing like a 30-foot radius of this. And there does not appear to be any sign of dead beastmen corpses at all. However, there are multiple blood smears that are dragging back towards the eastern barricades.
Do I see any light coming from those eastern barricades or anything like that?
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Okay. All right. do I see like figures on top of like their little mini battlement things or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, but there's definitely light coming from there. But everything's like very, very quiet.
I don't know how we're doing this, John, if I'm like what the time frame is for them to catch up to me or not. But without wasting any time, I'm going to go up to the double doors if there's still that level of movement for myself.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. I'm going to duck through the double doors with my light source so that I'm not standing in the middle of the room with a torch.
Understood. Give me 1 second. I just got to check a thing here. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, those are good yips. John, while he's doing that,
Mhm.
y'all's going to take that rope that he had tied to Mort. He's going to loop it around the fish and hike it up over his shoulders, and he's going to carry it on his back.
Okay.
To do that, to keep his speed at 90, he's going to drop something. He has a little dagger. You guys can help me. He can either drop a little dagger that we took from the Scribner's room back when we were running from Eustace, or just a regular javelin. If I drop either of those things, I'll be good.
Just the javelin, and then I don't have to go back in the treasure tracker and mark the Scribner's knife.
Okay. Ditch the javelin.
Give it to a goblin.
Give it to a goblin.
Okay, give it to a goblin.
All right.
And I'll do 3 slots worth of heavy waterfish. God.
Okay. So that's going to take more time than what's happening with Darius. Darius, within that same movement that you're kind of moving into the room and through the double doors, it all happens in the same turn because you're just kind of and you kind of move through, right? So the light source is still there. As you move through the double doors, and your light sort of illuminates a broad swath of the hall. From the eastern barricades, you start to hear a soft, not as militant as the last time. You hear a doom, 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 and you do see shadows moving across all of the tops of each one of those 4-foot high barriers that have been constructed there. Okay,
you guys got to haul ass, bro.
And but then you kind of slip into the doors. So what you see, Ted, you're going to want to map what Darius actually sees.
I'm ready.
Is a long Arcantian carved constructed chamber, 40 feet east to west by 20 feet north to south, and you are entering in the direct middle of the eastern wall.
Wait, 40 feet east-west, right?
Yep, 20 feet north to south.
Right, okay.
And in the northwestern corner, a passageway continues north, 10 foot wide.
Northwestern corner.
Directly north. Okay. Yep, you got it. Okay. It looks like similar to the hall itself and many of the other rooms here that used to be plastered. The plaster is basically gone, and you can immediately see in parts where the plaster was on the north wall, very evident that there are 2 arrow slits on the northern wall. Okay. The doors themselves, as you move through, are scorched and cracked. I noted that the first time you entered the room, and on this side, when you kind of move through, you can see on the western side, on the backs of the doors, basically, or perhaps the front of the doors, they are carved stone, and the door, one door bears an ibis, and the other a feather.
Oh,
okay.
Like those feathers that we got from that shrine north of the Debouchement, the feathers of Mott.
Yeah, stylized, but yeah. Yes, correct. And as you kind of enter the room silently, but your torch once again giving out light, you very quietly, you can hear beyond those arrow slits, you hear a distinctive sound of a bowstrings being pulled back.
Where are the arrow slits, John?
On the
right
northern, the northern wall.
Okay.
Like just equidistant?
Equidistant, like in the, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like John, I'm going to crouch.
3 of them. I'm sorry, three arrow slits. Equidistant.
Okay. I'm just going to crouch and go along the northern wall underneath the arrow slits.
Okay. Yeah, and if you're underneath them, you can definitely hear the breathing coming from the arrow slits. You know, calm, but steady breathing.
Okay.
Does it
Multiple.
sound fecund?
No.
Okay.
All right.
What I'll do then, John, is I'm going to kind of go to the corner. I'm going to look up that northern hallway.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just going to probably wait for the other guys so that I can warn them about the bow guys before they come into the hall.
Gotcha. So your torchlight illuminates a passageway that goes directly north for 30 feet and continues on past that, but you can't determine.
And no doorways off of it to either side?
Not in that 30 feet.
Okay.
John, when you said that it was going to take extra time for Niall to pick up the fish and so on, is that enough time for me to put my armor back on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll put my armor back on.
Okay. So putting the armor back on and then, okay, yeah. So we'll say by the time that Darius is set up at that corridor is the time when you've got all your gear ready to go and move out. The goblins are very excited. You're basically kind of keeping their voices. You're attempting to keep them quiet. So a turn goes by after that. So Darius has one more turn left on his invisibility and 2 more turns left on his torch.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, the goblins and Niall and I can now skirt around the fear thing.
Yes, you can.
Now, I'm gonna need somebody to hold a torch for him because Niall can't. You guys can see in the dark. Niall can't.
Goblins can hold a torch if they want help. They got to hold a torch.
Real way, you know.
And y'all, you're hauling the whole thing on your back. Is that right?
Yeah.
Using your hook hand. Okay. Right. So
No. Niall's got both. Niall's got both,
Jesus
baby.
Christ, yeah, God, yeah. I just look at you, Matt, and I think Avaricios. That's the problem. Yeah.
He's doing his southern accent, John.
I know. What am I thinking? All right. Okay, got it. Okay, so what do you do?
Skirt around the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know yet that because I'm worried about bringing those goblins into the arrow fire of death.
Well, that's why I'm waiting there, Matt, to warn you guys as you're coming through. So when I see the torchlight approaching the doors, as soon as I see a face come through the door, I'm going to be like, "Where are the archers to the north?" And then you guys are going to crouch underneath those arrow slits, and you're just going to move. Okay, that's why I'm burning my last invisibility turn saving here.
Okay.
Okay, so when you hear Darius's voice ring out, all right, you hear shouts of alarm coming from beyond the arrow slits, Darius, and then this is something that you probably would have noticed the first time this occurred as well, is you immediately hear the blaring of the horns in the wall, right, on the western side there.
That are in the Great Hall, those 2 horns that stick out of the wall?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Except it's only one of them that actually blared, which is kind of weird. So the northern one blares. Okay. And you like it.
You just gotta haul ass.
Then
you just gotta
and you hear like all 3 of the doors like slam open on the eastern side that are kind of set into that barricade.
John, as soon as I give that warning left, if I have any time left on that invisibility, I'm booking it up the hallway.
Okay, sure. What are the rest of you guys doing? The goblins are about to freak.
Once everything kind of goes berserk with alarms and stuff, I think we all just start running through the double doors.
Okay. So you hear Darius's voice, the horns start blaring, and then you immediately just are like you're just tearing ass around that corner, right, as fast as you possibly can.
I don't see any choice. I mean, we've been warned about archers, but I don't know where they are exactly.
I said archers on the north wall.
Yeah, a north wall I haven't even seen yet. Like, I don't.
Well, it's like when we peeked around.
Okay.
Y'all is going to, as we start this little dash, y'all's going to tell the little goblins, hide behind me, fellas, or get up against that north wall and run like hell.
Okay. So yeah, you tear around the corner. Let's see. They're aware of the danger. They understand that there are arrows there, but you still have to make your way to the wall. Like you have to kind of get in there, right? You have to kind of slide underneath that thing. So I don't think there's a non-zero chance that some arrows might hit. Yeah.
John, Y'all is going to kind of make a big show of it. Like he's got this big fish on his back.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to walk right down the middle of that room.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, my name's y'all can't hit me, can't hit the side of a barn, can't hit nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Give it your best shot.
Okay. You want to turn the fish end towards them?
Hose them right through the arrow slot. Yeah.
No. He's just going to walk through. He's got his hands on that rope.
Yeah.
And he's just walking through and taunting the archers as he does so.
Okay, cool. What's your AC?
Mort's going to block to protect himself and any goblins that can hide behind his shield with him.
Ooh.
So I'm taking a chance here that these are normal arrows.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
So
then it does not matter what his AC is.
It does. What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Well, Njal is wearing an amulet that when the first arrow starts to hit, bounces off and just does nothing. He has an amulet of protection from normal missiles.
Oh, snap, y'all! All right, look at that coming in.
But he'll make a show of it every time an arrow does hit him. He'll be like, "Oh man, that stung! Surely you guys can do better than that."
Okay,
I need to get that off your body when you go.
Amulet of protection. Where is this? Goddamn! What does it do exactly again?
Amulet of protection from normal missiles. It's an orange and gold amulet with a smooth orb.
Yeah, but what's the effect?
So it doesn't defend against siege weapons, but he's invulnerable to normal projectiles, and it reduces magical projectile HP damage by 1 HP of die damage.
Amazing. Okay, so this is how I'm envisioning it. You correct me if I'm wrong. So Njal is going to basically front and taunt them so that they loose their arrows. Then, knowing that they have to reload, Mort and the goblins are going to hustle as fast as they possibly can, and all of them, including Mort, will declare blocks with their shields as part of the before initiative. Right? Okay. So that's the declaration. So let us roll for initiative. I got a 5.
Oh, fine. I'll do it. I can beat a 5.
Sure you can.
And he did. Got a 6. Nicely done.
You just got to call it.
Okay, so everyone whips up their shields as much as they. Let's walk with Njal first. So Njal happens first, and basically doesn't attack, but just basically calmly walks his way through, taking the arrow fire at the. And then because we're doing side-based initiative, so it's a little bit abstracted. Mort and the goblins raise their shields, and they're going to skirt underneath, waiting for the reload to happen. So the goblins will attack Njal. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Here we go. Oh, it's all immune, so I don't even need to roll, right? So they fire these just 3 arrows in quick succession, and they basically just skitter off of you like a force, basically, just ping, 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 and you hear cries, animal bestial cries of dismay, as you watch as Mort and the goblin just like just gonna skirt around the corner in front of you, and yep, exactly.
And y'all was like, "Oh, that really hurt." Oh, please don't do that again.
Okay, Ted?
Can we tell these are the fletching on these arrows? Is it beastman or goblin fletching?
It's not goblin, put it that way.
Okay.
All right. So here's the thing. The doors are stone, and they are basically lodged open at this point. So after you kind of make your show, y'all, which was badass, you know that there are beastmen coming from all 3 barricades, plus there are the ones that are behind the arrow slits, and they are coming. What they're going to do, you're not really sure, but you have a feeling that if they recognized you and it was just you, maybe there'd be a chance for parley. But the fact that you've walked some of their enemies through their territory, probably they're not going to be so kind. So you're, what I'm asking you is, are you going to be booking ass as fast as you possibly can up the north?
Hell yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right, Darius, you're skipping through at 120, right?
Yeah. No, John, I'm actually at 90, bud.
You're at 90. Okay. All right. Take into account too that this is all running, so it's actually much faster,
Right.
but just relative. Okay, so as you lunge through there with your last turn of invisibility, which will last for quite some time when you're running speed, Ted, this is what Darius maps out. So past the 30 feet, let me actually scoot this down for the audience here. Zoom out a little bit.
Lucky audience.
Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes on for another 40 feet before there is a door directly in front of you. Okay.
Okay.
However, there is another door that you pass by on your way to the north that you can certainly just stop and go through if you'd like to. And that is at the 25-foot mark from the north on the western side.
One there. And one there. Is
There
that
you
right?
go. You got it, Ted. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the doors are kind of identical. There's not anyone not one's bigger or
No,
one
your typical Arcantian doors. That's correct. Yeah.
I'm going to go for the northern door. And I'm just going to open it, John.
Okay.
That was the
say-
wrong door. That's the sound of the wrong door.
I'm going to say that, Darius, you disappear through that door at the same time that the rest of the team is turning around that bend, right? Like you're coming up the corridor, okay?
So we just see a door open and shut randomly. And
Leave it open. I
Mort,
don't shut it
you
down.
would see that. No one else does. Right.
Why would I shut the door behind me, though?
I don't know. I'm just imagining, for the sake of cinematic drama, that invisibility, right? I just see a door open and shut.
Okay. So you enter into a chamber, Darius, that is 40 feet east to west, 20 feet north to south, and you're entering in 15 feet from the western side on the southern end of it.
Wait, western side, southern end. Okay, so a room something like this.
You got it. Exactly. There is a passageway that leads to the south in the southern eastern end. Can't tell where it goes.
So.
Okay, and there is a door directly in the center of the northern wall. All right. But the main feature that you notice is that bisecting the room from east to west directly in the middle is a huge, obviously deliberately built barricade of rubbish. Large bits of furniture, entire sarcophagi have been mounted here. Miscellaneous adventuring gear has been tossed here. And it's basically like a low height barricade that spans the entire thing. All right. And you see in front of you, directly by the door that you just passed through, Darius, impaled on a spear, stuck into a crack in the pavement, is a rotting halfling head.
On the north side of the barricade?
No,
Or the
right,
south
right
side?
next to Darius as he pops through the door, as if it was sort of warning people who would attempt to come through that door.
Do
Okay,
we recognize the head, John? Do we recognize the head?
you don't. Well, no, you don't recognize the head. You don't recognize.
Oh, Darius wouldn't know him.
Yeah. Now, okay, yeah.
Do I hear any noise coming up from that passageway to the east?
No, you don't. Okay, so right now you guys have the jump on them. So I'm just going to go back to the rest of the group, Goblins and Njal. What are you guys doing? Are you just following Darius in Darius's wake?
Yeah, I think we book it up that hallway, right?
Okay. Right, you're not going to go investigate the door to the west. I'm just asking. You're just going to follow Darius, right?
I mean, the point is, nobody likes Darius, but the point was reunification, right? We'll all get together.
Next session,
I mean,
Darius is his own party member.
That's right. No, I think we should follow him. Just, it doesn't do to split up.
Okay.
John, how long does it take to spike a door? Is that just like a run and jam something in there, or does that take like a while?
It takes a turn if you want to properly spike it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. We'll get caught up. Yeah, so we just book it.
Okay, you book it through, and okay, so you slam into Darius's back, and you're like, "Whoa!" This can be mounted, right? It's rather low, but you know for a fact that beastmen are coming. In fact, you can hear their booted feet and their growls, and you can hear like sort of barked orders. Like men, stay tight. Goblins about, and as from way down the hallway, and you can see like flickering torchlight, like about to round the bend. Okay, as you slam in. What do you do?
I say we shut this door behind us.
Yes.
And start climbing the barricade.
Are we all together now, John? We're all together.
You're all together, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go over the barricade. I agree. I think the beastmen put the halfling head here a while ago to dissuade anyone coming into their territory.
Do the goblins that are with us recognize this room?
So they do, yeah. So as they pile in, Harab's like, the barricade, yes. We are close. We are close to the passageways that lead to Gog. Oh, yes.
To lead to Gog?
Damn it. Wait, that's good. That's good. We want to go to the passageway that leads to Gog.
I would love to meet, or I would love to view Gog from a distance and see what's going on. But yeah.
Okay, let's go over the barricade. The barricade.
Be careful, though. As you can see, look. And they point to the head. Halflings to the north.
No, guys.
Go over the boil.
They're like, why are you dismissing them? Okay, so
I'll tell you a story later, but don't worry about them, little fellas.
Okay, so you heave yourself over the barrier as quick as you can, like shut up. The goblins like, just shut up, follow us, and you're hauling yourselves over massive people, and you can see that right before the door is another spear that is actually jutted out from a secret, like a tile in the floor at an angle towards the door, and it has blood on it that's dried but doesn't look to be too old. Okay,
like that kind of thing.
What am I looking at? Yeah, but it's like right in front of the door.
Spear.
It's like pointing right at the door, basically coming out of the floor, as if like if you entered the door from the north, that would have triggered a spear trap that jutted out and impaled you as you entered in. You see, and it obviously Go ahead.
Are there other holes in the floor that
no, just the one.
More spears could come out?
Just the one.
Okay.
We just pull the spear out of the hole.
Leave it. Aside. All you're going to do is show them which way we went. Let's just leave it.
Yeah. Okay. Can we open the door without triggering it?
When we open the door on the other side, John, can we be like cognizant that there might be a trap on that side, like of similar make?
You would have to slow, like really slow. You can be cognizant that there might be one, but there's no way that you could really avoid it if you're booking it.
We're booking it.
Let send y'all first. He can take it if there's something up there.
Okay.
It's not a siege weapon.
So you were running, you're running at full pelt mel, but I'm going to say like catching up and all that kind of stuff, getting over the barricade. A turn has passed. Darius suddenly pops into existence as he moves through, as Njal takes the front. And you have one more turn left on your torch, Darius. You move through. You enter into a 10-foot wide corridor, so you're actually going to be straddling two lines there, Ted. Straddling the middle line. Mort, your vision's a little bit distorted by the fact that there's torchlight impeding it, but you can see that it is a 50-foot long corridor that ends in another door.
50 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Running straight north and south.
50-foot corridor with a door at the end. That's excellent.
You can hear the beastmen pounding up. They're making for the barricade. Should we stop?
We're not there.
If they pass the barricade, should we stop them, Sergeant, or should we stay behind? Let's assess. Slow down.
Behind.
Shields up.
Right.
Spears out.
Shields up. Oop. Okay. We open the door. We run into the hallway. We close the door behind us. That's what I say.
Yep.
Okay, you are in that long hallway. It is lit for 30 feet by Darius's torch. Mort, you can see the door at the far end. Once again, you can hear the beastmen behind you.
I will approach the door at the far end. Ahead of everybody else, like I'll move up, and I'll, without the torchlight right there, I can open the door and see what's on the other side without necessarily giving away my position immediately.
That's correct. Yeah, when you open the door, Mort.
Oh no!
There is a passageway, 10 foot wide, that goes directly east and west.
Yes,
from
I know that passage.
From the west. From hold on one second. From the west, a voice on the wall says, "Behold the glory of Thoth. Mysteries of past, present, and future are known to those who speak his name and direct his arms, knowledge is power." While at the same time, to your right, you hear a much more sibilant voice say, "The followers of the Ibis are dead and gone. Their power is faded and their secrets lost. Neither power nor knowledge is to be shared. Beware." And somewhere off in the distance to the east, you can hear the splashing and raucous joy of goblins splishing and splashing in some sort of pool.
I thought you said goblins hated water.
But it's green and glowing.
You're true. That's true. Yeah. You've caught me in a lie. But maybe it was just this patrol. But you have returned to the Debouchement. Congratulations.
Yes.
The
do we
beastmen.
want to warn those goblins about the beastmen that might be coming?
They're like, are those goblins? What? I could swear we could hear goblins. What was that?
It is I, Mortis J. Gobliano, savior of goblin kind.
All right. So what I'm going to say is this is the perfect time. It actually stopped at exactly the right time. We were right at quitting time. There is, you have made it back safely. The beastmen, apparently, you do not, I'll just say this. They do not come through that door. Right, and you don't hear anything from beyond that door, assuming that you close it. The magic mouths are going off. You can hear the splashing of the goblins. The other ones from the Lost Patrol are around you, and they're just like completely taken aback. They completely recognize the place, the areas that they're in, but everything sort of looks different, right? So we will pick it up there with A Team, and it is at that moment that Darius's torch is going to go out. So this is what I'm going to say for the purposes of reunification, that it actually dovetailed rather nicely. It actually dovetailed perfectly, actually, now that I kind of think about it. We're going to end at 2:30 precisely. That's the actual time that actually occurred. And that, if I'm not incorrect, is right around the same time that Team B came down, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable how that actually worked out. Okay, so we will pick it up there with B and A Team. I think will be the next time, because you will be together, and we're going to have to make some decisions mechanically about how we're going to make this work, because it's not complete reunification, right. But A and B are moments from reuniting, which is amazing.
Like an hour behind him, right? Isn't C Team like an hour behind him?
C Team is
like that, yeah.
C Team I think is actually 1 hour ahead, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
They're outside at the gate.
But they're outside of the dragon. But I mean, literally, they could be here too, right? Like, I mean,
oh yeah, they're actually We could we'll figure it out.
C Team hasn't decided what it's doing,
right?
Because it doesn't actually know anything yet, so it's kind of an open question.
I think it's actually B Team down here that was actually at the 3 o'clock point. So you would have, but that's where we ended B Team. So they would have been actually talking to Bottleneck in his chambers at the time that you guys arrive. Right. So that's actually what was going on. So it's like, it's perfect. You're basically going to walk into the Debouchement and you're going to hear them all talking in those Eastern chambers. Right. And it's just going to be a happy reunion. So it's going to be amazing. So that was,
little buddy.
That was fantastic. Great session, guys. Unbelievable planning. Once again, it worked out like a champ. David's going to be very proud when he watches. So that'll do it. We'll pick it up next time. Everyone, please don't forget that you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and spread the word. And if you have the wherewithal, join our Patreon. It helps us out a lot. And go check out our publication, Feats of Exploration. It'll be useful at any OSR table that you're playing. And of course, we cannot leave without thanking our wonderful conquerors. They are, this time around, we have gtokyotime, Matt Konig, Chip Schultz, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, MandoNZ, Faisal, James Doig, Robert Valdes, Eric Lawson, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Dimaiolo, Will Davies, Matt Young, SummonToast, AdamtheDM, and Jibcutter. Thank you, as always, for your continued support. And everyone have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, John.
See you guys. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.